Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have a bunch of updates to share about Donald Trump's coup clown. So first is news that a judge has dismissed charges against 6 of his fake electors in the state of Nevada. The charges were dismissed, though, based on the location where the charges were brought, not on the merits of the case. The judge said this is simply a matter of the case being filed in the wrong jurisdiction. It was filed in Las Vegas, and it should have, according to the judge, been filed either in Carson City or in Reno. The attorney general said they're going to take this to the Nevada Supreme Court, so we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if they're forced to refile in another city. Next is news about the right-wing trash rag called the Gateway Pundit. The site was co-founded, as I've mentioned before, by Jim Hoft and his twin brother. And I'm sure you guys all recall, they're being sued by a bunch of people, by companies, because of their election fraud lies and their conspiracy theories. So as I recently had mentioned, they filed for bankruptcy. So they're trying to avoid facing consequences for defaming, right now at least, Georgia election workers Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. But in filing this bankruptcy, they expose themselves to all kinds of scrutiny of their finances. And it proves this is why they do what they do. They are shameless. They're grifters who are telling MAGA what they want to hear so they can line their bank accounts. Business Insider reported that in a bankruptcy hearing this week on Tuesday, Hoft was revealed to have used company funds to loan himself $800,000 to purchase a Florida condo. So that was in 2021, 3 years ago, and to date, he hasn't paid back a single penny. The corporation also owns a 2021 Porsche Cayenne. They value that at $54,000. That car, he's not even driving on a daily basis. It's in St. Louis, Missouri. So evidently, that's where Hoft is from, and he spends part of the year there. So he just has this Porsche parked in another state. And then he also pays himself $17,000 a month as a salary. So, I don't think anyone would be questioning any of this, but the company's trying to claim, oh, we don't have money. We're bankrupt. Can't pay our legal bills. Can't pay these defamation suits. I mean, here's some ideas. How about sell the car, sell the condo, reduce your salary down to what average Americans make? But they won't do that, of course. So this didn't go over well. There was a federal attorney who was in court. Apparently, according to Business Insider, the U.S. trustee program oversees all bankruptcy cases. And the representative who attended the hearing on Tuesday warned the Gateway Pundit, yeah, we may try to dismiss this bankruptcy because it's not really seeming legit. So if that happens, obviously, Hoft and his company isn't going to be able to avoid these defamation lawsuits. So let's hope that happens. Apparently, Hoft had a meltdown after this on his website. He wrote a blog post. He whined to his followers, and he wrote, quote, "The Department of Justice is targeting the Gateway Pundit in their hopes to ruin us, secretly injected itself in Chapter 11 case." In the same blog post, he again defamed Moss and Freeman. And then, of course, he asked his audience for more money. So keep sending in that cash, MAGA. Keep doing it. I'm sure he could use a private plane. And then speaking of grifting off of MAGA gullibility, disgraced former general and Trump appointee for a short period of time, current conspiracy theorist Michael Flynn, he's been draining the bank account of a nonprofit that he set up. It's called America's Future, Inc. So the New York Times says that Flynn is paying himself $518,000 a year as a salary, which amounts to 29% of the organization's entire budget. And Flynn once paid himself $40,000 for working 2 days. 2 days in a week, gave himself $40K. In total, they say the nonprofit has laid out over $2 million, $2.2 million to Flynn and some of his family members who supposedly work at this company. So again, this is why Trump's clowns do what they do. You know, election denialism is big business. It pays well. Next is news about sloppy Steve Bannon. Speaking of grifting off of MAGA, again, extremist radical Republican House members, including the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, they're pulling out all the stops. They're trying to keep Bannon out of prison. So as you guys all know, he is supposed to start his 4-month prison term July 1st. And he's just freaking out, trying to stay out of prison. Well, Trump's congressional toadies are filing legal briefs with the Supreme Court. They're begging them to intervene. Completely reprehensible. I doubt it'll work. You know, as I've mentioned before, it didn't work with Peter Navarro, Mr. What They Do. So I don't think it's going to work with him. But anyway, in other Bannon news, Judge Juan Merchan was supposed to preside over his upcoming trial, his We Build the Wall fraud trial. That trial is scheduled to start in late September, but Judge Merchan has been moved off of the case. Apparently, he has another case starting September 16th. That's expected to last at least 3 months. So Bannon's case and trial have now been reassigned. It's a judge named April Neubauer. Don't know anything about her. So we'll see how that goes. And remember, that is a state case. So Trump can't help him. Even if Trump wins the presidency, he can't help with that case. I also have news to share about Tina Peters. Now, Peters is the former Mesa, Colorado County Clerk. I've mentioned her before. She's accused of assisting in the illegal breach of voting equipment. She's scheduled to go to trial next month. And I've mentioned before, she's had numerous delays caused by her. She kept firing her attorneys. And the judge said, do it again, it's still going to trial. I don't care whether you have an attorney or not. This case is going to trial in July. So she is also, like Bannon, freaking out. She recently tried this Hail Mary pass to appeal, to stall again. The court rejected that request. So what Peters argued is that she's being prosecuted because she spoke out, because she questioned the legitimacy of the election. The appeals panel didn't buy it, but they said, okay, you know, you can raise these questions, you can raise these same issues when you go to trial. So barring some sort of miracle, she is going to stand trial next month, I believe, on 10 or more felony and misdemeanor charges. So she could end up in prison. Very, very likely. I also have updates about America's defendant, Rudy Giuliani. Apparently, he just lowered the price of his New York apartment by $1 million. He's trying to raise money to cover his legal fees, also to pay off that $140 million or $48 million defamation judgment. And he may have just been caught funneling income to a bank in another state. So this was revealed in bankruptcy court that Giuliani was just given a deal, $100,000, to appear in a documentary about Donald Trump. And he's also receiving 80% of the profit from the sales of that coffee product that he's pushing. So the money from both of those ventures is being diverted to a St. Louis bank. And his creditors are questioning this or trying to get more details because Giuliani's company, his corporation or whatever it is that runs all of his media ventures, it's headquartered in New York. Kind of odd. It also came out in court that he likes to spend a lot of money on makeup and on ties, very cheap ties. So apparently it came out in court that he spent $1,900 on Amazon buying packs of polyester ties. I don't know. Last but not least, I have news to share about one of Trump's Georgia co-defendants, former Kanye West publicist Trea Couti. So Couti, she recently made Holocaust denial comments on Twitter, or at least she's downplaying the Holocaust. She claims that she's like this expert on the Holocaust because she, quote, studied in Germany, speak fluent German, and have read Mein Kampf in German. Couti also wrote, quote, They could have never ovened that many Jews. There weren't even that many ovens. The number is not 6 million. Jews died, but it was not 6 million. If you take a trip, you'll know that number is a lie. And no, ovens weren't destroyed. Okay, so you read a book written by the sociopath who murdered the 6 million Jewish people. So you must know more, than the people who were there, people who lived to share their stories about what they experienced. And one Twitter user pointed out to her, no one has ever said that 6 million Jewish people were murdered in ovens. The ovens, as we know from history, were used to dispose of the bodies after they had been murdered by other means, mainly in gas chambers. Now, ironically, Couti told the person who questioned her, quote, reading is fundamental. Yeah, it really is, Couti. You might want to try it sometime. Perhaps in English, so you'll understand it this time. And I would suggest to her that she start reading maybe some newspapers, maybe some court opinions as well, so that she will stop believing in the other fairy tale about election fraud in the United States. As I always say, we don't have to wonder why some of these people support Trump. It's written all over Twitter. Anyway, I will let you know if I hear any more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you possibly can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.